Wisp Sports Radio, the voice of women in sport.
This is the Siri and BEK Show on Wisp Sports Radio, brought to you by Highlands Earache Drops.
Have you been diagnosed with an earache by a physician? For natural relief due to earache pain, fever, irritability, and sleeplessness, try Highlands Homeopathic Earache Drops and Tablets. Highlands has been trusted for generations to provide safe, effective homeopathic medicines for all members of the family. There's no alcohol and no sting. You can get back to doing what you love. Go to highlands.com/ear-pain to find a retailer near you. That's highlands.com/ear-pain. Claims are based on traditional homeopathic practice, not accepted medical evidence. Not FDA evaluated. Read and follow label directions.
The Siri and BEK Show, presented by Rest Performance. Introducing the world's only smart bed designed for athletes. I, Siri Lindley, personally recommend this bed as a training and recovery tool for all of my athletes. With 5 separate body zones that provide targeted pressure relief, as well as innovative technology that automatically adjusts to your personalized comfort settings, the Rest Smart Bed revolutionizes the way you sleep and recover like no other mattress. Learn more at restperformance.com or visit our tent at an Ironman Expo to try it out. So BEK, today we're going to talk about the time-crunched athlete. We have a lot of athletes come to us asking for coaching, and their biggest concern is that they have full-time jobs and families and can only do 1 session a day. Is it possible to do, no matter what distance race, even an Ironman on 1 session a day?
It totally is, and that's my job as their coach, to find a way. You just find a way to make it work. And I think maybe it's a little bit different for both of us. You have your professional athletes and a couple of incredible age groupers, but mainly professionals, and most of those guys don't work at all, and they have the time during the day to recover and relax and not have to worry about, a lot of them not having to worry too much about children or job commitments or limited time. So I think for me it's a bit of a juggling act, but I always have them fill out their work schedules and we just work around it the best way we can.
And so really, you don't have to train like a professional to have a great race. You can get away, and I do have quite a few age groupers as well that are able to do 1 session a day. And I have one athlete in particular that can do an hour a day, and that's it. But it's a matter of what you put in that hour. And one of the things that I focus on is you need to know yourself as the athlete, or if you're a coach, you need to know the athlete you're coaching. What are their strengths that they're coming into this relationship with? And what are their weaknesses? What's their current fitness level? What do they have the most doubts about as far as getting into a race? Are they most worried about the swim? Are they most worried about the run? You need to know exactly where they are, both mentally and physically, so that you can really plan the perfect training schedule.
Yeah, that's exactly right. And I think that's where communication comes in as well. My athletes are really, really good at sending regular updates and keeping me updated. And I always have them fill out like their time schedule and commitments. And for me, I think for my guys, the thing is I always say your family is always first. And a lot of guys worry about missing sessions and, losing time and trying to do makeup sessions, which is probably something we should talk about too. So it's definitely a juggling act, but that's part of the fun of being a coach. I think I really enjoy that part.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, that's what keeps it interesting. And as long as I would say, so everybody thinks, well, what about the volume? How am I going to be ready to go the distance? And I think that if on weekends you have the time to get in a long ride, to get in a long run, and ideally to be able to do a short swim before your long ride so that you get that swim to bike brick. That, I feel, is enough to get you through a race and to be able to get from start to finish. And then during the week, it's about, okay, even if you have 1 hour every single day, In that session, I am going to give my athletes everything they need to get strong, to build their aerobic capacity, to build their endurance, to work their technique and their efficiency so that they're getting the full bang for their buck, basically. And that means focusing on, okay, you have 1 hour. You're not going to be thinking about what you need to do at work or who you need to call during that session. In that hour, you are 1,000,000% present, focusing on what you're doing in every moment. So if you're on the bike, for example, you're focusing on power all around the pedals, pushing down, pulling up, being in the right position, putting in the exact effort that's being asked of you in each session so that you're literally getting everything out of that session that you can. And part of that is not just the training effect, but what you're getting out of that is working on being able to focus and not get distracted, working on pushing your pain threshold so that you can go harder and harder and start building up your confidence that you can handle so much more pain than you think that you can. So you're getting a full bang for your buck as far as the physical work that you need to get better, but also working on your mental mindset and also on building your pain threshold. Would you agree with that? And what else would you add?
No, I totally agree. But I think that some people worry that, I can't train for an Ironman because I only have an hour a day. And most of them, fortunately, have set days. So a lot of them, thankfully, have incredible partners and family that support them. They can go out into their long brick on a Saturday. But I think that a lot of people think they need to be doing 5 or 6 hours a day in order to be prepared. But the good thing about us is, we've got some little shortcuts and some bang for your buck sessions that you can really, if you have the quality and the specificity of the session, you can get the most out of every session. And that's where I think my guys also sometimes say, I train hard every day. But the thing is, when they only have one session, that makes it a little hard, and I want them to get the most out of it. But as long as there's a communication, I know how they're feeling, I want them to get the most out of every session. So I always try and include, like you said, everything they need in every session every day without any fluffy stuff or any wasted time.
Yeah, and even on the swim, I think the swim is such an important piece to this, whether you're a great swimmer or not. The swim is an awesome opportunity to build up your aerobic fitness, and that aerobic fitness translates to the bike and the run. A lot of people don't enjoy the swim. Don't have that stop you from getting to the pool. Whatever your weakness is, say the weakness for me was my swim. If there was one session I was going to have to give up in the week, do not give up the session in your weakest link. Mm-hmm. That is because you don't enjoy it, is probably because you need it the most. So don't give up the session that you need the most, and if necessary, change it to another day. But the key is that, so for example, you're doing a swim session, you're getting great aerobic training in, but also what I try and do is have them visualize as if they're swimming in the open water in a race. I'll say on fast stuff, I want you to accelerate in and out of the wall as if you are accelerating into a buoy on race day and accelerating out. Because on race day, what are the top swimmers going to do? They're going to accelerate into the buoy to try and drop people that are on their feet. And when they go around the buoy, they're going to accelerate and sprint out of the buoy to try and drop anybody that's there. So these are things that you can practice. You can practice sighting when you're swimming. You can practice all these things to really make every moment that you're training something that you're going to benefit from and something you're going to grow from.
Yeah, I think that's one really amazing thing about us having such a long time of experience in the sport, is that we've worked out ways where we can try and simulate the race even if they're not in open water or they're not able to ride on the road. I have a lot of athletes living in Florida that just can't get out on the bike. It's too dangerous. So there's so many ways that we can have them simulate that race type condition or those road conditions or whatever by using certain sessions and certain techniques. And maybe we can give a couple of examples of that.
Well, let's do that. So how about I'll start with the swim.
Okay.
I think some of the most important things that we focus on for our athletes is when you're swimming open water, you need a quicker stroke rate. It's what's more efficient. It's what's more effective, especially if you're a non-swimmer. You need the strength. So we're going to do a lot of strength work when we swim. We're going to do a lot of band work, which is going to help them with their stroke rate, but also build up their strength and power. We'll do a good warm-up where we include some drills and some kick to flush out the legs from previous bike or run sessions. We'll throw in some fast sprints, like say 10 50s with 25 super, super fast, like started the race fast, 25 easy, and doing something. So you're going to get a short speed set with the 25 super fast, 25 easy. Then I'll throw in a threshold set so that you're really working on your fitness level and being able to push and your pain threshold. Something like 10 100s on short rest where you're going as hard as you can and trying to maintain a really challenging interval. And then doing some sort of a distance set, like a 1500, building in your effort every 500. So they're getting speed, they're getting threshold, they're getting distance, they're getting strength, they're getting the drills, sighting drills, stuff like that, basically getting everything that they need to walk away from that pool knowing that they benefited greatly.
Yeah, and I think that makes me think about 2 points that are important, is that my athletes, I like them to do the masters sessions, but if that doesn't fit into our schedule and doesn't fit into the session types that I want, it's very tough. So a lot of the masters, they love to do, a 3K day of drills, and if on a Wednesday they want to swim masters, but it's all drill work or individual medley or something that's not really relevant to our sport, I tried to lean away from that. But in saying that, it's always good to have that environment of somebody around you and a team around you and people around you to push you. So that's where I think the coach needs to come in and decide, well, is it best for them to do the session this day, or is it best for them to do my particular workout? And we always say, like Siri just mentioned, we always want to make sure they have everything they need in their tool bag. So they have their strength, they have their speed, they have their threshold, they have their high-end aerobic, and then aerobic. And I think if they're going to miss a workout, don't make it a workout that you need the most, because normally, like Siri said, if you're struggling with the endurance and you find it hard to do over 400 meters without really losing technique, then that's not the session you want to miss. You don't want to miss your long endurance day, because that's what you need. If you love speed, it's probably because you're good at it. So you have to really be smart and know which session should I, if I'm going to miss a day here, what should I do? And then should it really be a makeup? Because we don't really tend to love makeup sessions, but when it comes to swimming, if there's 2 specific sessions, you want to make sure with your coach that you're doing the right one.
Absolutely. Don't cheat yourself is what it basically comes down to. You want to make every moment that you're training worthwhile. And if you want to be the best that you can be and you want to make that experience on race day an amazing experience, don't cheat yourself. Do the things that you know you need to get stronger.
And that was another thing I was going to say. Poor Troy, he's not going to like that I bring this up, but I was told that his navigation skills weren't as good as they could be. And that was something I used to struggle with a lot. And I think some coaches forget that you need to practice your sighting in the pool. You can practice sitting on feet, but you can't just look at the feet the whole time, because if the person in front of you isn't going straight, you can't rely on them unless you know they're absolutely perfect at navigating. And there are some swimmers that do that, but you still need to take responsibility and take the initiative to learn to sight. And I think that every coach should have their athletes incorporating that. And I know Siri used to take the lane ropes out, and I always knew, and we didn't just practice sitting on feet, we'd practice pushing off the front, trying to break away, and swimming all over the pool, because in a race you need to practice that as well. And I think that's something that we fortunately are able to also include in a lot of our workouts in the swims. You always want to practice that sighting.
Absolutely. And you can do that anywhere. Grab a friend, go to the pool, say, okay, I'm going to lead for 400 meters, and go wherever you want to go within that lane, so that the person that's on your feet has to really be paying attention and move when you move, cross when you cross. You can totally reenact what's going to happen on race day in the pool, no matter where you are.
Yeah. Exactly. So I hope that helps you guys with the swim side of things. Maybe we can move towards the bike. And the bike, you can always do the workout if you have a trainer. And for those guys, one of my athletes I realized didn't have a trainer and wasn't getting out on the road. You all should have a trainer, because if it rains or you want to do big gear work and you don't live in a hilly area, trainers are the best. And we actually have these
feedback sports trainers. We just got a few of those for our pain cave, and I tell you what,
amazing.
Best trainers we've ever had. So feedback sports, wind trainers, guys, look them up online. we've been looking for a trainer like this. It's very portable. You can take it to the pool. You can take it traveling.
That is really important.
Yeah, it's been awesome.
Being able to travel with a trainer, like all of them are so heavy. There's no way you can travel as much as I love the kickers. You can't travel with those. They're way too heavy. Like I always hurt my arm carrying the thing. So yeah, they're incredible.
Yeah, so, but yeah, wind trainer sessions, you are definitely going to get the most bang for your buck. No wasting time. You can, at the same time, practice training in the heat if it's a hot day and you're inside, or even on a cold day, but you got the heater on. But again, Beck, covering all the bases. So starting out with a warm-up, we do some drills, like one-leg drills to really feel that smooth pedal stroke. We'll throw in some 15 seconds hard to get the heart rate up, get them ready to dig deep and push hard. You and I are big believers in strength work, so we would probably start with a strength set, something like 15 minutes, where you're increasing the resistance throughout that 15 minutes and really working on pushing down and pulling up on the pedals. And then going into maybe a max power set, 30 seconds, as hard as you can possibly go, with a ton of rest, and then finishing off the session with a time trial of some sort, whether it's a 15-minute time trial, head down in the bars, laser focus, no distractions. That's the kind of session we would give, because again, you're getting a little bit of everything, and you can literally finish that hour knowing that you totally benefited and have taken yourself to the next level.
Yeah, I think you can totally get everything you need out of even pretty much one session. Apart from your endurance, you're still going to have to get your long bike ride in, but you can add like some max power stuff, some strength work, and some threshold stuff all in one session. And I think you're right, like the strength thing for us has been a huge key to people riding well and learning actually to understand what cadence is best for them. And it's, for us, we're quite different to a lot of coaches. We really believe in the lower cadence, not 70, but for me, my guys, like our ideal cadence is 80 to 84, and a lot of people want to question that and ask that. And you know what? It's honestly, it's there's so many reasons why we could go into that, but we won't, because I think we've talked about it before. But the proof's in the pudding, and we've seen years and years and years of our athletes. Look at Ellie Salthouse now on the weekend riding a 211. And she just did amazing. And, our goal is to have them riding at 80, 84 and not 90 cadence, because your heart rate's slower, you're working less hard cardiovascularly. And if you've done the strength work, it's there for you and your legs are fresher for the run.
Perfect. Thanks for explaining that, Beck. That's absolutely right. And that's how we coach. And like you said, the proof is in the pudding. So working that strength for sure. Now, on to the run. Your athlete has an hour. What are you going to give them in that hour, Beck?
Do you want to quickly give them examples of a couple of bike sessions as well? Because we did that for the swim.
Yeah, you go ahead. Give them another one.
No, I was saying the max power stuff definitely is good. That's going to lift your aerobic threshold. If your max power is low, your aerobic threshold is going to be low. So having the high max power is going to lift your aerobic threshold, but you also need to do the aerobic work. I think the strength work obviously is massive, but always start with just 1 minute at big gear, because if your body's not adjusted, then you're going to really struggle with injuries and things like that. And I think don't forget to include your long rides. And that kind of sucks if you're on the trainer having to do like 4 or 5 hour bike rides, but everybody does. I have my athlete, Matty Valley, gets up at 3:30 in the morning. I just found out actually it's way too early, and he's in trouble for that. But getting up that early is a little crazy unless you go to bed at 6 o'clock. But getting up and doing those long rides, especially for Ironman, you need to be on the trainer for like 4 or 5 hours.
But it's so worth it. And I tell you what, doing those long rides on the trainer make you so incredibly tough, and basically makes race day easy when you're in a nice place and lots to look at. I mean, those turbo rides make you incredibly strong, both physically and mentally.
Yeah, so I think they're kind of your key workouts without neglecting the long bike. You definitely need to get that in. If you're only doing half Ironman, you could probably get away with 3 hours. But we always do, that's another question we always get, that why do you guys always do time-based workouts rather than distance? And, I mean, there's a lot of reasons for that as well. Obviously, with time-based, it could be a windy day and hot as hell, and we have you riding, say, 50 kilometres. It may take you 2 hours on a nice, easy, cool day. And if it's boiling hot and you decide to climb that day, like it may take you 3 hours. So we love to work out our workouts time-based on the bike and the run.
Yeah, exactly. So on to the run, Beck. Same thing. I'm a big believer, again, in strength. Strength on the swim, the bike, and the run. I truly believe that strength leads to or translates to speed generally. So on the run, especially on those long runs, if you can only train 1 hour a day and maybe a little longer on the weekends, I would make that long run hilly most of the time to get that strength work in, or have one of your run sessions during the week be a hill session. And just like using a turbo or a wind trainer, we love using the treadmill because it's efficient and you can do a lot of stuff. You can work your fitness, you can work your speed, you can work your threshold, you can work your technique and efficiency in a place where you're not having to deal with roads, cars, stoplights, stop signs, whatever it is. So we use the treadmill a ton, and I would say a good strength session on the treadmill would be a nice warm-up, a few strides to kind of get that feel and focus on your form running fast, and do some hill reps, and you can do this on a regular hill outside as well, but doing something like 30 seconds up, and then your recovery is always back down to the bottom of the hill, and then 45 seconds up, recovery back down, a minute up, recover back down, 2 minutes up, recover back down, and kind of like a fart, like where you go up to maybe 5 minutes and come back down, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 45 seconds, 30 seconds, and done. So here you're going to focus on your technique, which for us would be, running uphill, you're leaning into it, your gaze is down, you've got quick feet, little feet, pumping the arms, and being super efficient. And adding obviously some oomph and going hard, getting your heart rate up high and having that recovery back down the hill. That's an incredible session that you'll find will take your run to the next level, and you can get that session done in an hour.
Yeah, and you can do that anywhere. The good thing about running is no matter where you are or where you're traveling to, you can always run, unless it's obviously dangerous outside to run. But usually the hotel gyms have a treadmill, and that brings me to another point. A lot of guys always say to me, well, I always run at 1 or 2%. No, the treadmill is a tool. You don't need to try and simulate to make it feel like the road, because it never is. It's moving underneath you. So all you guys out there that are believers in our club, listen to us, because we always keep our treadmill at 0. And the other thing is every treadmill is set differently. People that set the treadmills up may have it set at 1 or 2 degrees. Often it's already at 2 degrees. So don't even worry about the degrees. But another thing is always stick to the same treadmill if you can, because every treadmill is different. Rinny has one that we actually have here now, the Woodway, and she called it the Dream Crusher because it just is a fast treadmill. They're all different.
Totally, absolutely. And the other thing about treadmill to road is don't compare your speeds on the treadmill to your speeds on the road. And don't compare your speeds on the road to your speeds on a trail. Basically when you are trying to gauge your progress, you can compare your treadmill sessions to past treadmill sessions, and compare your road sessions to past road sessions and your trail sessions to past trail sessions, but don't try and compare them to each other because they're all totally different.
Yeah.
How about one more session, Beck? I covered the strength. How about you give them...
Yeah, the strength's a good one. You can pretty much do it anywhere. And, I mean, even if you had to use stairs, like, you have to be careful getting injured. But if you're not prone to injury, stairs is even a good thing. Like, I remember doing at one of the events, doing the stairwell, and Brett had actually, Loretta Harrop, doing this a lot when she had... gosh knows why she was doing it when she was injured, but it seemed to work for her. He just had a good intuition with that. But stairs and doing stairs instead, like if you can't find a hill, be really careful. But you could do stair reps. I used to do it up and down the hotels, like for my strength workout when I was in areas where I remember it flooded in Thailand and we couldn't get outside, so we were doing stair repeats. And it's anything where you're using that strength, and it doesn't really matter about speed. Like, don't worry about speed going up a hill. You just want to worry about technique, and the effort's going to be there. The great thing about hills too is I took my athlete for a run here last weekend, and your heart rate, if you're doing like a long hill in winter, we do a lot of long hills, like we'll run uphill for half an hour. We did one just on the weekend. It was half an hour, 45 minutes uphill, and you can't look at your Garmin because you're running at like 8 to 10% a lot of the time. And that's where I think we always tell our athletes, don't wear your pace clock, don't wear your Garmin, just wear your regular watch, because it really doesn't matter about that speed for a strength session, because that's not the idea of the session. The idea is to build strength in the legs.
Exactly. And that's awesome. And something, again, that strength session is key to what we do with our athletes.
And it definitely translates to speed on the road as well. For all you guys thinking, well, it's going to slow me down. It actually doesn't. If you're still doing your speed work and your other sessions, the strength work will not slow you down.
Yeah. And speed sessions, guys, you can get in a speed session in a way that won't exhaust you, won't tear you down. You could do it the same week that you're doing that strength session. Something where you either on the road or on the treadmill where you go 20 seconds, just ultra fast, perfect technique, and then 40 seconds, super, super easy, almost walking if you're out on the road. But focusing on that perfect form and being efficient and really pushing your speed short enough where it's not going to hurt you and exhaust you and tear you down, but also long enough where you really are going to benefit from that speed.
Yeah, I only started doing those, I think, with you and Brett, and it really, really helped. And I used to think, well, why are we doing speed as Ironman athletes? But you don't want to lose that fast switch, because as you get older, you have fast, slow, and intermediate fibers. You want to make sure those intermediate fibers, as many of them as you can, are turning into speed fibers. So you want to be keeping that speed work going as long as you're staying injury-free. And those 15 on, 45 off, for me, I think was really key to... I never really knew I had natural speed till I started doing that. And it definitely helped my running.
And a great time to do that, which is super easy, is after, if you've got an hour and a quarter, do that hour bike session and hop off the bike and do 10 to 15 times 15 to 20 seconds fast, 45 to 40 seconds easy. It's an incredible session and a great way to get a brick in. But the other thing, too, about that speed work, guys, is even as Ironman athletes, is that speed work is absolutely necessary for lifting your base pace. Your base pace is not going to get any quicker, or that pace that you're going to hold in a race won't get any quicker if you're not raising the ceiling of your speed. That's my opinion, at least. So an absolute necessity no matter what distance you're doing. So that would be a short speed session that can be done basically any day because it's not going to take a lot out of you. How about a bigger speed session, maybe a track session, Beck?
Oh, we used to do track every week with Brett, and I really think it was more of a mental thing with him than anything else. Some of our sessions I remember each week was 32 800s. I don't recommend this. 32 800s with 200 float, and it was a long run. It was like 32 kilometers on the track, and I ended up enjoying it because I think it really helped. And one of those sessions like that, I hope Brett doesn't mind me giving it away, but everybody knows he still does it. I think I definitely got injured running one way all the time, even though we turned every 5 or 6. It was way too long running around in a circle, but you don't need to be doing crazy stuff like that. But I do love the 800s above race pace and the milers and the 1K repeats. I think they're really important, but I think that you only need to do a certain amount. You don't need to be going and doing like 20, 30 of them.
Yeah, exactly, and that's a great point. And the other thing, too, you don't want to do a strength session, which most likely will lead to, sore calves the next day or tired legs at least. You're not going to want to go to the track the next day. Okay, so hopefully you all know that you want to space out these sessions. For instance, if you did a strength run on Tuesday and then the track run on Friday and your long run on Sunday would be a great way to do it.
And I think another great way to do it is to do your cadence work or turnovers, just because that really shouldn't be a hard session. It shouldn't be cardiovascularly difficult, but it's getting that fast twitch fibers fired. I like to do that 1 or 2 days out from the track session, and it's not really a hard workout. It's an easy run with the turnovers at the end, and then you feel like peppy for your track session the next day or the day after. And I also think it's a good time to do the turnover work pre-race. I used to do it on a Thursday or a Friday before a Sunday race, and it's funny because I remember seeing Rinny do it in Geelong, and I saw her sprinting. I was like, oh my God, why is she going so hard? Then I realized after knowing you, it was a turnover session, and I think it really helps for race day just to fire up those fast twitch fibers and those feel good feelings of a little bit of speed.
Yeah, definitely. And absolutely, if you are crunched for time, do it right off the bike. I mean, those brick sessions are key. You need them. Even after your long ride on, say, a Saturday, if you can get in a short run off the bike, that's amazing. You want to train your body to feel comfortable and to feel great getting off the bike and running.
Yeah, and that's funny because people think we're doing it and we're sort of, some people think they don't know the session or way we work, that we want them to hold that speed off an Ironman bike. But no, it's actually just to get that feel. And you'll hear Siri in Kona, everyone hears her saying this, quick fit, fast fit, quick fit, fast fit. And she always had me running out off the bike, doing that 20-40 or 20-20 just for 3 or 4 or 5 times just to get that speed, and then you drop back into race pace, which is always a little slower than you in those fast turnovers, and you actually feel really good because your body's like, oh, that feels good. And you'll notice too that after doing the turnover work, if you have to do that at the start of a session and you're doing a threshold set on the treadmill or on the track or on the road, you will feel really good. It actually will feel easier than doing just an easy jog warm up. It's always good to throw those in. I'm giving everything away now. Throw those in before a session.
Yeah, and that is awesome information, Beck. So let's talk about recovery. They're crunched on time. Obviously, when you're working
we missed
hard,
the long run. Don't forget to add the long run in.
Yeah, I said that, and to do it in the hills would be a great idea as well.
Sorry, yeah.
But yeah, so with recovery, guys, you're obviously not going to have time to have a massage after your session or go to the pool and do a kick set. I would say an Epsom salt bath at night, and we talked about this in the last episode, and sleep. Your sleep is going to be really important. It's where your body is going to rejuvenate. And for us, we're fortunate enough to have a lot of our athletes on the rest bed, which is basically, I think we spoke about rest beds last week, such an incredible recovery tool. It basically is like custom fitting your bed to your body, depending on whether it's sore from a track session or tight from a long ride. You're able to custom fit that bed to you so that you are able to sleep without disruption and truly get the quality sleep that's going to help you recover quickly.
Yeah, we definitely talked a lot about recovery, I think, on our last episode. But that would be one of my favorites, and the Normatex, obviously, and the Epsom salt.
Yeah, Epsom salt baths. We're talking about, so for time crunch, guys, you're going to have to sleep anyway. You may as well make that sleep super quality. So if you have the opportunity to try out a rest bed, give it a try. They are absolutely incredible. Marinda Carfrey sleeps on one, Tim O'Donnell, Ellie Salthouse. They're incredible. But if you don't have the opportunity to do that, have an Epsom salt bath before bed. It will help you a ton, and stay hydrated and eat well. These are the keys to recovery, and you can get that done whether you have a ton of time or not. So recovery is key, guys. Thank your body for all the incredible hard work it does, whether it's in the training or the work you do or how you give to this world and to the people around you. Love your body, thank your body, give back to your body, give it what it needs, and always say thank you, because your body, this life is an incredible gift. Thank your body each and every day so that it can continue to step up and give you what you ask of it every single day.
Conversations from the world of women's sports. This is Wisp Sports Radio.
We are thrilled that Believe Ranch and Rescue has been chosen as the official charity for Wisp Sports coverage of the FEI World Equestrian Games.
Chris Stafford will be bringing daily coverage of the games from September 11 to 23 on the Horse Show podcast and on Wisp Sports Facebook page live with live video coverage. Be sure to stay tuned for that.
Find out more about how you can help Believe Ranch and Rescue at believeranchandrescue.org. The Siri and BEK Show, presented by Rest Performance, the world's only smart bed, designed for performance, recommended by elite coaches like me, and used worldwide by incredible and inspirational athletes.
We had a really great show today. I think everyone got a lot of awesome information. And don't forget to follow Team Serious Tri Club as well on social media. Our website is www.teamserioustriclub.com. You can email me or Siri on teamserioustriclub@gmail.com also.
And as always, everybody, believe in yourselves, back yourselves, dream big, and always be brave.
So please visit our sponsors, highlands.com/ear-pain. There'll be links to our websites also on social media in our show notes accompanying this episode at wisports.com, and you can follow Wisp at Wisports.
Thanks for listening and supporting women in sport everywhere.
Thank you, guys.